Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is your old mate non-Rasputin, and we're on to the final stretch with this V8 Calais. As you can see, it's another great day in Auckland, New Zealand. It kind of gets a bit cold, then it gets wet, and then it gets warm, and this happens about 20 times a day. Anyways, so here we are with the V8 Calais. This Calais bumper here has definitely seen better days, so I've hooked up a better bumper. It's an SS bumper that I'm going to pop in place that I think is going to really make that front end shine. Oi, what are you doing in there? Cheeky. I have an SS bumper which is going to be perfect on the back here. Unfortunately, these lights here are longer, and so I'm going to have to do a bit of modification on this bad boy here. So we'll go through that process and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to meld two bumpers to make one good one. So to get that perfect measurement, I'm going to use my special tool here, which is a bit of a spray can with a vivid marker, and we're just going to run that line along. And right around. And that makes our cut line. We've cut the SS bumper, we've cut the Calais tops, and so this is the basic fit here. It's pretty good. Okay, so I'm just using the soldering iron just to basically tack this in place, and just sort of slowly just basically making a couple of dots here on the inside just to get it roughly lined up. how that looks. It's fairly straight. There's a few gaps and things like that, but that's alright, we can sort that out. Before putting a staple in, just making sure that I'm clamping that really, really hard before I put any staples. Okay, so just a quick mock-up fit up, and it looks like the idea is going to work, so that's great. So I'm going to actually proceed and continue to stitch up this until it's fully secured onto the bumper, and then start putting some, basically sanding it down and putting some filler in here and making sure it's plastic welded all the way around. Alright, so she's starting to come together after a few layers of filler. We're able to sort of sand that back, and we've got it looking reasonably well. Managed to sort of capture these curves in here, which is cool. Over here as well, got a little bit more sanding to go. But generally I'm pretty happy with the way it's turned out, with the finish. So after it's painted, it should look quite nice. So on the other side of the bumper, that's the cured fiberglass there. So reason why I did that before I sanded it was to give it a bit more strength while I was actually sanding. I didn't want this to sort of start to come apart and start to crack, etc. There's a real risk of that. So that made it super strong. Same on that side. So there are a few loose fibers here, so before I actually send it to the painter, I will actually spray it with, you know, just some old paint or what have you, just to make sure that all these fibers are all secure and nothing flies out onto the paint. So one other key difference between the Calais bumper and the SS bumper are these points here for the parking sensors. So although they are not present on the SS bumper, the places where they can be put actually are. So we can actually locate those, drill a hole, get those brackets that we grabbed off that bumper and glue them onto here. So I'm super excited. I got back the bumper from Junior. He's done the finishing work and the paint on there, and it looks absolutely superb. Who said you can't do a great paint job in your garage? Anyways, this thing is looking amazing. One of one. I don't think there's another one in the world. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But anyways, the Calais part and the SS part, and it just looks absolutely phenomenal. So let's see what it looks like on the car itself. Let's go. Okay, that fit is absolutely phenomenal. I'm really, really happy with that. Pretty much factory, you know? So I'm super, super stoked with how that turned out. I will note that whoever had this car in the past had actually riveted these points through here. So to get the bumper off, the light had to come off. And so quite interesting. Not too sure what that was, what that's about, but I probably will just put rivets back in there. There's a reason why someone had that there. Maybe it was just to keep it all sort of tight, so we'll just redo that. This headlining is looking like a sad old parachute. We're going to pull this out and we're going to put in a new headlining. Alright, so first thing we've got to do is get rid of this old stuff here. Get the old headliner off. I see someone's stapled it at the back here. Perhaps it was flapping in the past. They just wanted a temporary fix. No worries. So there we go, that comes up pretty easy. I wonder what we can do with this. What are you doing, mate? You found yourself a new home. Sometimes when the last owner leaves their CDs on the deck, I like to try and figure out who they were just by seeing what sort of music they listen to. Let's check it out. First up we got Fetty Wap, Jim Jones, Rick Ross, Rather You Than Me, Forest Hill Drives, 2014, Meek Mill, Dreams Worth More Than Money. Nice sentiment. 2004 Tokyo Auto Salon. Oh, cool. A car DVD. Neat.